On Salesforce court, she's still limited in what she can do. According to head coach Stephanie White, did non-contact work, did shooting drills.
The drama surrounding Caitlin Clark's sudden disappearance from the Indiana Fever lineup sent shockwaves through the WNBA world. For a player whose presence had reshaped the league's media coverage, ticket sales, and all-star voting records, her silence was deafening. Rumors swirled. Was it serious? Was she being overworked? Was it even an injury at all? The Fever refused to share details. The media speculated. Fans waited. And then, just like that, the silence broke. Clark walked back into the spotlight, not with fanfare, but with the weight of expectation trailing behind her. She had returned to practice. She'd spoken to the media. And what she shared wasn't just an update, it was a glimpse into a tense, fractured, and critical moment in the Indiana Fever season. For the past couple of games, Caitlin had been missing from the court. Her absence left a gaping hole in the Fever's offense, and even more critically, in their morale. As speculation grew, so did concern, not just about her health, but about what was happening behind closed doors. The injury, she revealed, wasn't something catastrophic. She described herself as day-to-day, emphasizing that every effort was being made to be available for the next game. It was classic Clark, driven, hyper-competitive, and determined to meet every standard she set for herself. But there was more than just a personal comeback underway. While she stood under the spotlight, cameras rolling and microphones angled toward her face, Clark dropped a bombshell of a different sort. Confirmation that this team has been tested far beyond just her absence. She acknowledged the locker room adversity, the missing coach, the injuries. This wasn't just a physical grind, it was mental, emotional, spiritual. Yet, she praised her team for sticking together, for showing up every day with energy and focus, for proving that resilience wasn't just a buzzword, it was a necessity. And still, she stood there smiling, discussing billboards in downtown Indianapolis, laughing lightly about her face being plastered on the JW Marriott. The moment was surreal. On one hand, the Fever were fighting tooth and nail just to survive the season. On the other, Caitlin Clark had just made history, again. With over 1.2 million votes, she wasn't just returning to the court. She was returning as an all-star captain. It was a moment of poetic contrast. Her body recovering, her team struggling, yet the league, and the world, was still watching her every move. Reporters asked how she was feeling. She didn't flinch. "I feel good," she said. But she didn't overpromise. Her answer was measured, real. The road back wouldn't be instant. Her participation at practice was limited. Non-contact drills, light shooting, carefully controlled movement. The Fever staff was taking no chances. And they couldn't afford to. The next game loomed large, Tuesday night against a juggernaut franchise that had already seen championship success and Commissioner's Cup glory. Clark knew what was at stake. Not just another win or loss on the board, but a litmus test. A gut check. She called it an opportunity, but the subtext was clear. This was a crossroads. A win could energize the locker room, validate the rebuild. A loss could fracture what little chemistry had been rebuilt since her absence. She admitted it herself. The locker room had been through it all. Injuries, coaching absences, a turbulent start to the season. And now, the pressure to gel before the All-Star break. Still, she didn't seem rattled. She spoke of growth, of the power of shared adversity, of finding strength in the collective. To an outsider, it might have sounded like media training. But Caitlin Clark isn't just a polished speaker. She's a competitor who has stared down packed stadiums and silenced doubters with her game. When she says she's proud of her team for showing up every day with the same attitude, you believe her. Because she's lived it. Her return also signaled something much bigger. The All-Star Game was coming to Indianapolis. That wasn't just coincidence, it was a culmination. Of hype. Of marketing. Of timing. And Clark, front and center on billboards across the city, wasn't just participating, she was leading. She would be a captain, tasked with selecting her squad, wearing a GM hat, and representing her team, her city, and the league. The symbolism couldn't be clearer. Just months into her professional career, Caitlin Clark had become the face of a franchise, of a movement, of a league in transition. Stephanie White, her coach, kept expectations grounded. Clark was progressing, but carefully. No full contact yet. still working through the recovery protocols. "We don't want any setbacks," White said firmly. Her tone said what her words didn't. Clark's health was paramount, yes, but so was the need to get her back on the floor. Not just because she could score or pass, but because her presence changes everything. Her teammates seemed equally aware of the stakes. There was talk of playoff pushes, championship mindsets, and Commissioner's Cup ambitions. But what was striking wasn't just the urgency, it was the honesty. This team knew it was still in its formative stage. They hadn't won anything yet. But they were learning, adapting, evolving. There was a shared sense of respect, for the game, for each other, and for the opportunity that lay ahead. One player put it best, "It's a gut check to see where we are." That wasn't a throwaway line. That was the heartbeat of the Fever right now. The All-Star break wouldn't just be a celebration, it would be a mirror. And Caitlin Clark's leadership would be under a different kind of spotlight. Yes, she's still young. Yes, she's still learning the grind of a WNBA season. But she's not backing down from any of it. She's embracing it, whether it's returning from injury, navigating team dynamics, or stepping into a national leadership role on All-Star Weekend. And yet, even as the lights grow brighter and the cameras follow closer, Caitlin Clark remains remarkably grounded. She speaks of respecting the game, of being who I am, of just showing up every day and doing my best. In an era where hype can overtake substance, Clark remains refreshingly focused. No theatrics. No distractions. Just hoops. Her return to practice may have been limited, her next game not guaranteed, but one thing is undeniable. Caitlin Clark is back. And even at less than 100%, her presence is a game changer. As the Fever stare down a defining stretch in their season, one thing is certain. The spotlight isn't just on the scoreboard anymore. It's on the locker room, the culture, the chemistry, and whether or not this team can rise with their star player or collapse under the weight of expectation. So what do you think? Will Caitlin Clark's return be the spark that reignites the Fever's playoff hopes? Is she being pushed too soon, or is she exactly what this team needs right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button if you believe in Clark's comeback, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the WNBA's most dramatic storylines.